Dr. Tomi Mitchell from the Mental Health and Wellness Show. Today I have the pleasure of introducing Dr. Ahmed Al-Katib. He is a board-certified psychiatrist and founder of Psychiatry in Motion, a practice grounded in the idea that mental health isn't boring, it's just been told wrong. Born in Baghdad and shaped by life across cultures, he brings a raw, global lens to topics most people tiptoe around. Dr. Al-Katib speaks bluntly about the things that truly affect us: gender roles, racial and wealth disparities, social media, and the quiet ways FOMO and loneliness creep into everyday life. His work blends science, story, and movement to help people feel seen without sugarcoating what they're up against. He's not here to pander, he's here to say the quiet parts out loud, with care and clarity. With no further ado, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me.
I had to smile when we were talking before we went live, well, recorded, just many of our similarities. And I know, especially for those who can relate to our stories, they're in for a treat. And perhaps those people who are completely naive to the realities of some of us more melanated individuals face, it may be an eye-opening for you. Or some may feel denial or feel uncomfortable, but that's okay. We're here to have a conversation and keep it real without sugarcoating.
The sugarcoating's come up twice now. This is I'm gonna like it.
I always say that people sugarcoat the sugarcoating. We don't even just sugarcoat things anymore. We sugarcoat the sugarcoated, like donuts. We're talking about donuts before. It's like sugar covered sugar.
And then you throw in the calories, and now it's only 420. Before it's 480, 500. It's a good way of sugarcoating. Also, the fact that it's unhealthy for us. But it's, no one just says, "Hey, you know what? It's delicious. If you're gonna treat yourself, eat it, but don't do it too much."
And if you're gonna eat something, make sure it's yummy. I shall say, because why have something gross? If you're gonna enjoy it.
Absolutely. I tell people when I want to lose weight, all this stuff. The reason why most people don't stick to diets or anything like that is because they go from I enjoy what I'm eating to now I have to eat this bland stuff all the time and everything. If you don't like doing it, you're not going to do it. So do the bland stuff, make it a little delicious, and then once in a while, treat yourself.
I love it how you said make it a little delicious, because I'm like, the little voice inside of me, that quiet part, it's called seasoning, bro. Seasoning. You can make it
Yeah.
taste good.
You can make it taste delicious. You can switch up, add something else besides salt, pepper, and paprika, maybe chili flakes. So you could go wild. You can add cumin, you can add turmeric. Turmeric's actually kind of good for you.
I love turmeric.
Just be careful. That's going to get on your clothes. Yeah. And your pans and your utensils and everything else.
And
but
your countertops, be careful of that curry.
I think you got all these spice blends. Just go crazy. It's a little bit extra salt. Just drink some more water. You're good.
Exactly. Awesome. Is there anything you'd like to share with our listeners so that they can kind of understand you a little more as we dive into this conversation?
I tend to be all over the place, so it's it's gonna be on us to kind of get here. But for me in general, so I'm a psychiatrist. I'm Canadian. I grew up in Baghdad, moved to Canada, went to medical school in Poland. Now I live in Brooklyn, New York, and I've been here for about almost 8 years. And I just started a private practice, and with the idea, it's called Psychiatry in Motion. The whole idea is, I think that if people move, they learn things about themselves and they will feel better. Far too often we're stuck just in our own heads, not doing anything, feeling stuck because we're not moving physically, mentally, spiritually, in our relationships, and we feel stagnated. And then we're like, what do I do? But if you look at it from the grand lens, what you're doing is you're sitting in one place or in the same kind of habits, and you're just thinking and thinking and thinking. There's no movement. Move your body, get out of your head. And also, like, there's so many metaphors between what you do when you move, how you lament waking up in the morning and going on a run, or doing this and doing that. And that's just the same approach we take to everything else we do. A resident or a student told me this a few months ago, almost a year. She said she saw this on a yoga studio's wall. It's like, how we do anything is how we do everything.
Yeah, I've heard that many times. How we do one thing is how we do everything. And it's so true, right? It's so true. So moving, getting off our behinds, getting off the couch. It's interesting how we as a society, we watch all this, like, for example, football or basketball, all these diehard fans who are like, could name every player. I couldn't name any above. But they don't move.
Yeah.
We just veg as a society. I think they say 90% of American kids don't even meet the minimum required activity. And that's shocking, especially when we were kids. I don't know. I did that minimum amount in like a day, just getting to school, right? Right?
No, you gotta get moving. I mean, it's also like fun to get out and move around. I mean, if we're gonna talk about kids, we're gonna be here for a while. The kids, I'm scared for kids nowadays, to be honest. But I mean, I guess every generations as they go on, they're like, oh, I'm scared for kids with the newspapers, letters, radios, TVs, internet, phones. So I
It's
think it's
really bad
natural.
for kids right now. Yeah.
But we're humans tend to get through things. But I mean, I don't think we're all ready for what's gonna happen in the next, 5, 10, 15 years. I mean, for the most part, I think what we're really missing nowadays is like we don't move too much. We know too much about what other people are doing. We care too much about what other people are doing and think of us and thinking overall, and we're just stewing in angst and anxiety and burning ourselves out. It's
Hmm.
a it's a wild time to be alive right now.
It definitely is. But for those of us who are like taking maybe a holistic lens, who are have the knowledge and are practicing what we preach, it's wild, but it's almost predictable. Like, do you ever feel like you're just there, like sitting almost like in a movie, eating your popcorn, and you're watching what's happening, and you're like, and this is what's gonna happen next, and wow, that's what happened next, because these are predictable patterns. Like
Yeah.
history repeats itself. So psychology and sociology, add all the ologies together, and you just know, like we've been
Mhm.
through multiple movies. Like you said, you were born in Baghdad. I'm an immigrant too. Like I was born in Nigeria, moved all over the world, seeing lots of history, seeing society change, seeing norms change, looked at messaging in the world and how we've just so many things. It's predictable, but not everyone sees that, and that's why we're here having these true conversations that are not filtered, not sugar coated, not approved by any major news organization. We're just being real and our thoughts to
Yeah.
ourselves.
I mean, and that's what people kind of resonate to, and I'm sure that's why your audience resonates and listens to you. And I think one of the best things I could have done was actually get into psychiatry. I can understand, sympathize, and empathize with everything, and I'm not surprised,
Hmm.
right? And you say the different backgrounds, everything else. Like, I'm not going to get too political, but it's the U.S. At least here. People are like, oh, I can't believe this is happening and that's happening, this is happening, and I'm like, well, you know what? I've seen this before. I mean, I was brought up in under Saddam's. I didn't know too much, right? I didn't know it like, but you couldn't say his name, you couldn't say anything bad about him, or else someone would come in and snatch you off the streets, and you'd never be heard from again. Or, I mean, this is the part that I hated him for the most, and this is like a kid's perspective. He would change the national anthem several times.
Hmm.
And before you get into class in the mornings, you have to line up with your classmates, and then you all
Hmm.
had to sing, and then we go around, checking your fingernails if they're too long or whatever it might be, and you had
Hmm.
to sing it.
Hmm.
If you're off rhythm or off beat, you get smacked. And I'm like, dude, can you stop? Just choose one anthem. Why do I got to learn different anthems for you just to feel good about yourself? Like, I'm good. Like, the last one was good. Last one had a nice beat. We're good with it, but it's like repeating itself. And I work in ERs, I work in private practice. You see the same pattern over and over again.
Yeah.
I'm very comfortable when someone comes in, I can just, okay, this is what's happening. And then they're like, well, tell me what's up, what's going on. And a lot of times they think if I just tell them what's going on, that's instantly going to change. There's a little gap in there that needs, change takes a
Yes.
while. It's
Yes.
it's habits, it's motivation, it's repetition, it's momentum, it's
Hmm.
failing and not fall into the same traps. And it takes a while.
Yeah, no, there's patterns. There's patterns in nature. There's pattern in life, and I agree with you. It's not nothing is surprising me right now. Nothing. And I remember as a kid when Saddam Hussein was around, and even we used to chant songs about him. I was in England that around that time, and more so. I can't. Yeah, yeah. It was a
English love
crazy.
chants. The English love chant.
Oh,
They'll chant about anything. Yeah. Every team's got like every like football or soccer team has like 1,200 chants. Every player's got a chant. If something happens in the news, they got to chant. If there's like a new fish and chip spots that opened up with
yeah.
curry, they got to chant. Yeah, of
There was one for Maradona, the football player. There was one for Saddam.
course,
There was
of
one
course.
for
It might be
everything.
during like an Iraq game or like somebody that has like a Arab name. It's like, all right, whatever, let's just go with it. Yeah, they're a fun bunch in the UK.
So yeah, no, I feel you, and I know right now, mental health psychiatry is playing out on a global stage, right? At least this is my thought. You can share your thoughts, but we see certain traits, we see certain behaviors, and then we see actions because actions don't happen out of a vacuum. Whether it's leaders, whether it's individuals who choose to move or not, it didn't just happen like it's not a surprise. Like
Mhm.
it first starts here, what we think of. and then things we think becomes actions. So, back to activity. If I agree, activity is so important. So many of us are not moving, majority are not moving, and it's just feeding into so many of the crisis we have right now. Now back to the fun stuff, mental health. I know when I was in residency, it was very clear to my attending that whenever there was a mental health patient, the attendings they would groan and be like, "Oh, mental health." Like my attendings, like, come on, bro. They didn't even try to pretend like they didn't like this topic. And it's not surprising that so many people don't like this topic, but surprise, surprise, I'm one of the family doctors who currently embraces mental health in my practice, and that's actually an area of interest for me. But people say that mental health is boring, right? You're like, oh, psychiatry, you're just a guy, you're on a couch, patients on a couch, you're like, this Freudian kind of thing, like talk
Mhm.
about whatever. What are we getting wrong, and how would you tell it differently? Because we definitely believe that the messaging is off.
For
So let's
sure.
get this
Yeah.
right.
I mean, so generally, through medicine, oh, that's psych. Call psych.
Yep.
And the
Mm-hmm.
joke, the joke is patient has feelings, consult psych.
Mm-hmm.
And funny enough, that actually happens quite a bit of time. Mental health is huge now. I mean, the pandemic caused an eruption, and I didn't know. I mean, when I went to psychiatry residency, my parents kept asking me, even in my third year, like, isn't it is it too late to just switch residencies? Just switch to another program. I'm like, I'm almost done. Like especially coming from like a, let's say, minority community or anything else, but it's exploding because people are now realizing slowly, whether they want to or not, that emotions rule their lives or can rule their lives and ruin
Yeah.
their lives.
Yeah.
But if harnessed and actually understood, it can actually, get you good, get you right. But it's being told wrong. Everyone thinks I got to be crazy. I'm not crazy, and I
Yeah.
hate that word. I hate that word.
Yeah.
It's like I got to be crazy. I don't want to see a psychiatrist. I don't want to see a therapist. Oh, it just means this, that. And part of the problem is the messaging. We
100%.
think, like you said, you got to sit down and someone's got to evaluate you, or you feel like you go there and someone listens to you, or they just kind of just openly give you a hug. Oh, it's okay. It's this, it's that. Some people are really turned off by that.
Yeah.
Extremely turned off by, like, well, oh, I'm here to support you and all this stuff. That's nice. It's good for certain people, certain styles, just like any. I don't want to use the word product, but it's kind of, let's call it a product.
Mhm.
It's certain ways and formats are better for certain people.
Yes.
The other way is, like, everything's okay, everything you're doing is okay, everybody else, it's everyone's problem. But some people just need to be told, like, hey, this is the problem, this is what you're doing, and this is emotions destroying your life.
Mm-hmm.
Even for my patients that have had traumatic events happen to them, like, sexual abuse,
Mm-hmm.
physical abuse, neglect, all this stuff, they don't even tell mental health professionals about it because they don't want to be told, oh, I'm so sorry it happened to you. Yeah, it's this, that. They don't want to feel pity.
Yes.
People tell me, it's like, oh, I'm sorry that happened to you. That sucks. That sucks. All right, how do we fix it? How do we fix what, and they're like, oh, I want to get over it. Like, I want to, I'm like, yeah,
Or
we got to talk
healing.
about it. We
Yeah.
got to talk about it. We got to make it, like, we got to beat it down so that the moment you think of it, it doesn't cause this giant eruption inside you. And
Yes.
then we repeat that over and over again, and then you're good.
Yes, 100%. I agree. And I like how you mentioned how you don't like the term crazy, because people think, oh, mental health people who have mental health problems, they're crazy. They're the ones shooting people up and killing people and doing all these things in the world. No, as long as you have a beating heart and your brain is functioning, you will at some point have a mental health challenge, because it doesn't have to be diagnosable. It could just
Mhm.
be, like I said, we have feelings. That's part of mental health, and it's
Yeah.
normal. So, how we want to respond to these feelings, or if we want to make these feelings like the defining moments or experiences, defining moments of our lives, that's a choice. We can actually like stay in that mode of feeling bad for ourselves, feeling pity for ourselves, which we're not minimizing bad things happen to good people. Or we can take those situations, grow from it, learn from it. Someone once told me, or in this training, he's like, look at some of the hardest things you've gone through in life and ask yourself, what do I need to do to make that experience worth it? Now, he's not necessarily talking about the worst things ever, but at least like the average garden variety problems that we have as humans. Like, what do you need to do to make that experience a positive experience? Not like make something good from it.
Mhm.
We're not minimizing challenges, but we can't just stay stuck. It doesn't help anyone. We can't
Yeah,
change
no,
things.
It really doesn't. It's at the end of the day, our misunderstanding is that we think that our thoughts, we think that we're in control
Mhm.
ultimately, right? We think, just because we think and can, control our bodies and pay with our credit cards or whatever it might be, that we have control over our lives. We really don't.
No. Mm-mm.
But for the most part, we're just kind of floating around along the river of life. And what you could do is decide which direction you kind of want to go in the river. If you want to stop a little bit, if you want to have a picnic, what you do on the boat.
Hmm.
But at the same time, if you don't know that emotions have control, can't affect you, if your thoughts can't affect you, and the fact that, what we do, our habits do affect us,
Yeah.
you're in for a terrible, terrible, terrible ride, especially when very traumatic things or difficult things happen to you, whether that be loss of a parent, loss of a loved one, which is, I think, one of the most defining things in anyone's life.
Yeah.
I've recently lost my father last year, and I learned that firsthand. And I was like, wow, this is the grief is rough. And like you said, Viktor Frankl has a famous quote: "If anyone has a why, they can endure any how."
Yes. That's
So and everyone's looking for a purpose. If you go through something, why suffer through it if you're not going to get something out of it?
yes.
And in order for us to even get to that stage, we have to, number one, admit to ourselves that we're suffering, and
Mhm.
we're not equipped with the tools in order for us to get out of it. Whether that be just acknowledging that we are being bombarded and overwhelmed by emotions that we don't even know how to name.
Mm.
And I don't even want to get started on that. It's like, a lot of my patients, I give them a thing called a feelings wheel. It's like three circles, a smaller circle in the middle, then branches out, and then the last one kind of has more nuance and more descriptive terms for the emotions.
Yeah.
Most people just tell me, I feel fine, I feel good, I feel bad. Those are great judgments. Those are not emotions. And I'm on people's cases about this. But if you master the ability, the awareness to kind of look inside yourself and know what emotion you're feeling, and know that that emotion is going to color the way you think, the way you act, and the way you move, you're already set. Like, I mean, you're like 50% of the way there.
That's so true. When people ask someone like, "Hey, buddy, how are you?" They're what they say, "Fine."
Fine, good.
Like,
Oh, I'm here.
me, yeah, it's all good. Living a dream. Okay, but the funny thing is, in life, if that I've done this before because I'm a little cheeky and I keep it real. People will ask me, "How are you doing?" And I'll say more than just the fine. And it'll be funny. People are like, "Oh, I don't want to go." Like it's like I just don't even really mean it. Like you know what I mean? We're so weird as a society that way. We ask, but it's empty.
It's almost like a greeting. Like in the UK, it took me a while to understand. It's like, hey, you all right? And I would go, I'm like, yeah, I'm good. How are you doing? And they just stop it. Like, oh, whoa, you know,
Yes.
yeah. And in New York,
TMI.
it's like, hey, how you doing? And then you just walk by. It's just, it becomes like, hey, I asked you how you're doing. I don't want an answer. I just want you to know that I said hello and I quote care, and then I'm
Mhm.
just gonna walk by.
Yeah, that's so true. Definitely true. I've lived in the UK too. But, I often find, and I'm sure you feel the same way, that sometimes men seem to struggle with this. And it's because you're a dude, you get to speak for some men, speak for the men, because we don't often get male psychiatrists on the show. It's usually female. Why do you think so many men struggle with emotional intelligence and their feelings? Now, I say this with all due respect, but it's an important societal issue because men and like women play pivotal roles in society. But I find like so many men are as like emotionally constipated, for lack of better words. Like they just can't
I
get that out. Like it's why?
mean, that's actually a good metaphor. Actually, recently I was walking in a park in New York, and I stopped to ask some guy how he was recording videos, and it was something about dating, and then ended up recording something, and it went pretty viral about emotional intelligence in men. And I just said, like, men suck at dating, blanket,
Yes.
kind of term. But ultimately, humans in general are like, it goes back to what I was saying before. Humans in general don't a lot of times don't know how they feel. We have a much better grasp on how other people might be feeling and might be thinking than we
Mm.
do on ourselves. Women tend to generally have better emotional awareness, emotional intelligence, because it's more like expected. Like, oh yeah, women are emotional, right? So then, all right, fine. I'm gonna live my life and actually cater to my emotions. And you always see that in breakups, right? Women generally tend to do worse for a month, and then they bounce back strong because they're actually able to acknowledge how, the feelings are hurt, the emotions are hurt. The girlfriends come over with ice cream, and they all start talking about sharing stories and commiserate. That's healing, right? You're admitting that you're feeling down and everything else. I can't believe you did this. I'm so sad. I'm so overwhelmed. Absolutely. Beautiful. Guys, next day, they're going to the gym, they're hanging out with their friends, they call their single buddies, we're going out. I'm downloading 5 different apps. I'm staying up until 3 a.m. just swiping, pretend like everything is fine. And then on the surface, they're going out, they're traveling, they're hooking up, they maybe have a new girlfriend, whatever it might be. A month later, beards all the way out, haven't showered in like a week or two.
Mm-hmm.
Work performance has gone down, have no idea what's going on. It's like, oh, I just know what it is, and then they lean on substances to try to get them out of a funk, just because a lot of times we're just born and told that, hey, man up, sack up, don't be a bitch, don't do this, don't do that. And if you do say I'm feeling sad, it's like, you're always feeling sad. We make fun of it.
Oh, yeah.
And it's society in overall, but I think it's a life skill overall, regardless of gender, regardless of orientation, regardless of whatever. It should be a life skill for you to identify your emotions and know how you feel, because it's going to set you far in life. Men in general just don't have this awareness, and they generally just know happy, frustrated, and fine.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm angry.
And they know angry, except they don't admit that they're angry.
That's true. They're like, I'm not. Yes, that is so
I'm
true.
frustrated. I'm frustrated.
They're like yelling and blah, blah. I'm not angry.
So frustrating.
I'm not reading my voice.
Yeah, you're frustrated? Okay, all right. Then I don't want to see you like slightly, disengaged or unimpressed or confused or sad or, God behold, angry. I don't want to see that. It's like, oh, I'm never angry. I don't get angry. I only get angry when my team loses. Okay, all right. All right, buddy.
And the women around them are like, yeah, bro. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, no, I mean it's a pandemic for the most part. And I think, and now this has spread out a lot because it caused a rise in sexism. People like Andrew Tate, Jordan Peterson, people kind of monopolize on this and they say, yo, men have to be strong. And now there's a rise of like, I don't want to use the term toxic masculinity because all of a sudden people are going to call me a simp, which I actually just realized I learned what that is like a few months ago. For the most part.
What is a simp?
Simp is somebody who kind of like sucks up, especially to like to women, to the opposite sex, and say, oh yeah, hey, you got to be this, you got to do that, you got to treat her with respect, and everyone's kind of like rides them real hard. At the end of the day, I tell kids all this stuff. I'm like, if you're trying to be like that player, if you're trying to be that alpha male, whatever it might be, you will have many women fawning over you if you're actually able to maintain relationships, meet their parents, be able to hold strong relationship with them. You can get any girl you want. Any girl you want. Like, obviously you still have to make sure you dress nice and your hygiene's on point and smell nice. Absolutely. Like, work out a little bit and have interest, be an interesting person. But if you're able to add in the ability to have conversations, to know how she feels and everything else, they won't stop chasing you. But instead you're, oh, I gotta just like treat them like, oh, they're objects, like, oh, I don't really care. Oh, that's really, she was talking too much, so I cut her off. Okay. All right. Good luck with that. And then, when you're 30, 40, 50 and you're single,
they're
or
lonely.
You're like, they're lonely, or they like latch on to somebody.
Yeah. Or meaningless transactional, quote unquote, and not even a relationship, because I believe relationship is both ways, but it's just transactions. They'll just be this lonely dude who looks like he's living the high life. People are just there to get food, money, whatever, sex, who knows, from him and go bounce, because they never actually took the time to invest in the relationship.
Yeah. And ultimately they're unhappy. You could it's unhappiness, and then it just creates more bitterness and everything else. And then they wonder, what it is. And it doesn't have to be that way. It really doesn't. Honestly, like it could be super simple for someone, even in their deep set ways, to just say, okay, you know what? Emotions aren't this like corny thing that it's like, oh, just for women and all this stuff. It will make you better at work. It'll make you better at your play. It'll make you better during sex. It'll make you better during sleep. It'll make you better at anything, right? It's like, pretending that you don't have a left leg and just trying to, run with one leg at a time.
Yeah, no, for real. Yeah, emotional intelligence. I talk about emotional intelligence and leadership and how it's so critical. And I feel like people are so focused on other things but that. Like, I feel like it's really, really lacking. And I don't have stats for this, but when it comes to feelings, are you finding that, yeah, traditionally women were the ones who are expressing their feelings and being able to identify them, but I'm finding it less and less now. I'm finding that even women are struggling with
Mhm.
identifying their like true feelings. It's like I don't know, it's just different. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, there's no, in essence, there's no superior sex in terms of like emotional awareness, just more practice,
Yeah.
right? And we're falling out of practice because we're being inundated with other things, and especially because, I think we're much more connected and we live in a much more connected world. There's social media everywhere. There's that sense of FOMO, and there's a lot of negative self-talk. Before back in the day, you got the, magazine covers and the
Oh
commercial,
yeah.
and it caused
Teen
everybody to feel
magazine 17.
exactly. And you got to look like this, you got to do this. And it's like, oh, wow, it's causing a pandemic amongst young women, eating
Mm-hmm.
disorders, all this stuff. Now everybody's getting that smoke. Even if you're in like 70s, oh look, that family took their grandma out and they were caring for her and they call her. No one calls me. No one does that. It's a pandemic in that sense, and so we're much more used to feeling less than, sorry, sad, and which are not emotions that we want to feel. And generally, when we don't want to feel certain emotions, we either block them out or we numb ourselves.
Yeah.
And that becomes the process of how we do deal with other emotions: anger, confusion, happiness, anxiety. And so then we dull our senses, our emotional senses,
Yeah.
just to deal with the world that we live in now.
Yeah, no, I feel you. That's very, very, very common. So, let's switch it up a bit because I know that, in your bio you talked about, how you are, keep it real, you're blunt about things that really affect us, whether it's gender, racial disparities, wealth disparities, etc. So let's talk about this thing called race, or maybe I even say DEI. I'm just kidding. Ha ha ha. But listen, you know, let's be real. The world is colorful. Anyone that says, "Oh, I don't see color," I just call bull on that. I think we all see color unless you are literally blind. Then you
Mhm.
might not. But we all see color. There's consciously, unconsciously, it's there. There's biases, there's experiences that we all have to work through. Like, for example, someone who grew up in a very overtly racist home, who, let's say, when they see someone of a certain color and certain explicits come out their mouth,
Mhm.
right? And they were raised that way, but they chose later on in life as they became an adult that this is not right. But don't get me, they probably still think those things when they see them. They just learn not to say it. They catch themselves because one's upbringing, one's experience really does shape one's life. And for most people, they spend 50 years, 60 years trying to deal with the first 10, 20 years of their lives,
Mhm.
right? In the
Yeah.
workplace and in life, how do race, gender, and money show up in people's life, especially in ways people don't expect? And that's what I want to talk about, the ways that people don't expect, the not so obvious ways. It's easy to say, that walking around with a blanket over your head and peepholes for eyes is overtly racist, or carrying a certain emblems are racist or are problematic. What about in subtle ways?
Yeah, I mean, you touched on a giant topic. This could be 3 seasons in a row. You could
Yeah,
talk about this, and I just want to make one, and then maybe this is like the blunt part as well, because a lot of times I feel like we think white people are just or the only racist ones. That's not true.
no,
Humans.
absolutely not.
So the white listeners out there,
No.
untighten your butthole. It's fine because here's what I'm going to tell you some truth. We have been humans in general hate on others. It's us versus them. If you're a different religious sect, if you
Hmm.
have even in the dark and melanated community, if you're slightly darker, oh, you're a little darker.
Caste system, colorism.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely. Like if you're a Han Chinese versus a non-Han Chinese, if you're walking up, it is insane. It's everywhere.
Yes.
And throughout the history, I mean, we've had countless genocides, Cambodia, the Armenians. Listen, we are not a peaceful species.
I agree.
We war with each other. We want to do all this stuff. And like you said, we are a product of our environments and upbringings. And
Mhm.
for the most part, if we judge ourselves for having thoughts that are like tough to break, just similar to like, having unhealthy habits when you grow up. If you grew up eating cheesecake every Wednesday, And then you're like, in your 30s, 40s, 50s, you're like, I got to stop with the cheesecake. But every time you see a Cheesecake Factory or something else, you're like, oh yeah, I want it. And then we say, oh no, how dare you? You should bad yourself. That's not a healthy way of dealing with it. So if you grew up and your grandma, Uncle Dave, whatever might be dropping N bombs and saying, oh, this and this and that, and you're primed, you're kind of like, you are gonna have thoughts that comes up. You're like, oh,
Sure.
you're gonna drive around like a bad driver. Oh, I knew she was Asian,
Hmm.
right? There's that she and Asian, right? Like it's
Hmm.
gonna be in our head, and then we judge ourselves for either thinking that or feel vindicated that we were right. Listen, your thoughts and emotions, these things just happen to you. You get to decide what to do next. And
Yeah.
just exactly like you said, if that person recognizes that their upbringing was maybe more ignorant and everything else and decides, you know what, I'm actually going to do things that are going to be more equal and I'm actually going to recognize myself and push myself and expose myself, that's it. If you, the other part of it is like, we are going to be ruled by unconscious tendencies and habits. So
Yes.
if you walk down the street and you see someone of color, all of a sudden you start grabbing your wallet,
Mm.
guess what? That is conditioned,
Oh yeah.
right? That is conditioned. But if you walk down the street at any night at nighttime and you see a young man of any whatever might be with wearing a hood and a mask, listen, I'm grabbing my wallet. I'm crossing the street. I don't care. If it's 4 o'clock in the morning and I see five guys hanging out, one of them like at a
Hmm.
one of them drinking all this stuff, I'm gonna be looking for someone to call me something or
Hmm.
try to swing on me, or
Hmm.
I'm not gonna walk by and pretend, oh yeah, these are just, it's situational,
Yeah.
right? Remove that aspect. If you're in a different country and you're walking around with a camera around and this and that, and people around you are suffering and have difficult life and everything else, yeah, likely, it's going to be much easier for you to be, let's say, a victim of something because, listen, it's reality. That's the world we live in. We have the West and certain countries have excess and other people don't, and we tend to kind of forget that. So I kind of want to make that point. And in terms of just how it shows up in day-to-day lives, it could just be something like, you know, saying someone's name, right? Like, oh, hey, I'm gonna. A lot of times, like for my name especially, Ahmed is not that uncommon. Muhammad's not that uncommon. Ali is not that uncommon.
Yeah.
You could just say it and be like, oh, my bad, and just say it out loud. Just say it once, and then get corrected. It's fine, but don't make a big show of it. Like, oh, I don't understand this name. All of a sudden, you're making us, feel so different that you're saying, like, am I gonna mispronounce? Is it Ahmed? And then you say it 5 different times. Just say it once, go for it, and then follow up with it. It's not that difficult, but a lot of times it's a lot of negative self judgment, and sometimes when we try to overcorrect, it actually makes things way worse.
Definitely. That's a real thing. That's a whole, like I said, it's a whole new conversation. Like the whole names and changing names to get an interview and all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's a real, but I did like your comment about the elephant in the room is that we often talk about race as in, white versus brown, Chinese versus this, blah, 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 blah. Oftentimes we need to look inwards and know that a lot of this stuff actually begins within the same community. Because if we accept certain behaviors that are hurtful amongst our brothers and sisters, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? Where it's maybe it's just a skin shade, or maybe it's a different racial, I mean, a religious background, and we allow persecution and murder and all kinds of terrible things to happen, that's a
Mhm.
problem. Charity begins at home. For me,
Yeah.
it's not surprising, but it's saddening when I see countries who see their fellow country people being hurt and persecuted, or even similar faiths, and they stay quiet, they stay complicit, they enable, and I'm just, bro. Where for me, I'm not jaded. I see something bad happen. It doesn't matter what color. I'm sad. Like today, the day we're recording, there was an Air India flight that
Yeah.
went down, and
It's
that's
awful.
it's awful. And I think it went into our medical school dormitory or something, and over 200 are presumed dead, and who
Yeah.
knows how many more injured on the ground. Like, I don't care about the nationalities of where they're from. It's like human lives were lost tragically. Like it sucks.
Yeah.
And when we can get to the place where we can all just see each other as, I see us as one human race. Maybe because I grew up listening to Michael Jackson, make the world a better place for me, the
Yeah.
entire human race. Like we are
Yeah.
literally one human race. Like when we go to medical school, we're not like, okay, this is a black body and this is how we do surgery on a black body versus a white body. No, like there may be slight nuances for like response to medications or certain things down the road, but like the big picture, we are the same. We have a heart, kidneys, liver,
Mhm.
brain, blood that flows in a certain direction. Like it's the same, right? Once we need to stop tearing ourselves down because I think the rate at which we're going, nobody's going to be spared.
Absolutely. I mean, one of the things I loved, probably one of the two or three things I loved about COVID,
Yes.
which hot take, is that it caused us to be humans versus virus. All of a sudden, everybody kind of forgot where you're from, where you look
Yeah.
like, all this, all that, what's your political stance. It's like, yo, we got to be looking out for other people. I mean, it
Yes.
was a short time when it first happened because it was like just a big thing.
Mhm.
But down the line, it's going to be, I don't want to get too sci-fi on you, but it's going to be us versus AI, us,
Oh,
and at least it's us.
100%. Not even down the, not like in our lifetime, like 5 to 10 years.
Yeah,
We're talking about 30, 40% of our jobs being eliminated in the next few years.
yeah, and
Easily.
it's gonna cause a lot of infighting and everything else. But it's just kind of that example is
Yeah.
it's always us versus them. But when us becomes humans, we're gonna have much less infighting. But that
Mhm.
only happens when there's something huge
Major.
going. Yeah, like a worldwide pandemic. Does it have to be a worldwide pandemic? No, but that's just how we are. We're tribal species. We're community based. Everyone that's around you that you're going to be protective of, and the others are danger,
Mhm.
are different, are it causes. It's just how we're brought up. It's just our genetics. It's just who we are, and that
100%.
translates to from immediate family members and who you live with, to
Mhm.
towns, to sports teams, to religions, to states, to political leanings, to skin color, everything else. That is it's just how we conceptualize ourselves. And the by and large, probably I'm not going to give a number here, but like a very large majority of the population of the human history in general does not see that we're following these patterns.
Oh, I see. There has to be some major like global catalyst for change. And in order for us to have sustained change, there has to be key players. Look at George Floyd, 2020. Like there was
Mhm.
this this was terrible. It was terrible. Like it was traumatic. It was wrong. It was murder. We're gonna make all these changes. Look at us now.
Still, actually the rates are actually gone up. The police murders have actually gone up in the U.S.
Yeah, right?
Yeah,
Look.
we don't have a very good attention span for these things. That was a little bit more sustained. We had a lot more time on our hands during that time period, which I
Well,
think
yeah,
was.
we're on lockdown.
Yeah, exactly. So people are like, this is, I mean, we're barely trying to breathe, and this man is just putting a knee down and actively not trying to make a man breathe. And it was us humans versus them virus.
Hmm.
And we're like, well, what are we doing? And so we came to our senses briefly, but
Hmm.
then some lockdowns kind of went away. We were able to do this all of a sudden. Yeah, look at me, I'm going out, whatever it might be, and we forgot about it. And it's and also like I don't want to seem like I'm blaming us, but that's just our patterns.
Yeah.
We're tend to forget. I have a very short attention span. I will start something, get to it on like a few days, and then a month later, I'm like, what happened to that one interest? Like today, I was looking at my microphones. I'm like, oh yeah, I bought all this stuff. I was going to do like social media stuff, and that quickly faded after 2 or 3 weeks. It's just my pattern, and I don't judge myself for it. I just know it.
Well, that's human nature, and in order for us to like break those patterns, there are things that we have to do in our world, like in our environment, to kind of keep us on track, right? So from the psychiatry reference point, even from a coaching reference point, what would you say? Like people have been listening to us for the past like 45 minutes. They're like, okay, we hear you, but what do we need to do? Obviously, our attention spans are like that of birds. Obviously, we are emotionally constipated. Yeah, I get it. We can be really mean to each other. What are we gonna do differently? Like, what is next? What's next?
What's next is move, right? Like if we sit here and just kind of just think about all these things, we can have these. This is an active conversation you and I are
Yeah,
having about
of
this.
course.
This is a good medium for these types of thoughts and expressions to be in and percolate,
Mm-hmm.
not inside your head, not when
Yeah.
you're trying to sleep, not when you're
Oh.
at work, not when you're, when you're out and about, right? So just recognize that you are an animal,
Mm-hmm.
you are prone to habits, and we are generally in a society that is allowing us to not move as much.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to be doing more and more thinking, which is unhealthy. So you got to move. And when I say move, you know what? You know why I tell people to move? Because you are now activating your body. You're using your nervous system to have spatial awareness,
Yes.
vibrations, weight, coordination. Your brain is like, I don't have time to think about what Courtney, what Mike said,
Mm-hmm.
what Jamal told me last week, and
Mm-hmm.
why my mom and what my girlfriend. Like, I don't have time for this. I gotta move. I gotta do that. I gotta focus on my breathing. I'm
Mm-hmm.
tired. Like, all these things are gonna give you a little reset. Go in nature, right? Go
Yeah.
in nature and just be expansive. Just listen to the waves, listen to the birds, listen to a hummingbird. Watch some sand fly off the edge of his sand dune,
Yeah.
and just use your senses. Once you use your senses, your brain stops working as much, and you can prioritize better. And you got to recognize your rhythm. Some people have a cadence where they need to move. I mean, I need to move every day, every day.
Me
I
too.
break a lot of things. And when I break a lot of things, my mind goes overdrive. And when I recover from injuries, it's hell for me. It's hell. I become so annoying internally and externally. But I know that about me, so I count for it. But we just got to move and get off your phone. Get off your phone.
Yes.
If your screen time's over 3 hours, you gotta look at where you can cut that down.
100%. Yes. Move. Talk to a real person in living color.
Yes.
Like move.
Yes. Talk to them. Have a conversation.
Have a
Have
conversation.
a difficult conversation. Talk about
Yeah.
difficult things. Get
Yes. Talk
uncomfortable. Talk
about it.
about talk about
Yeah.
race. What?
Yeah. Yes. Talk about difficult conversations because you think I always say you can only push so many things under the rug until you eventually start tripping over them. And most of us are just tripping because we've been pushing things under the rug, thinking that's no big deal. That didn't bother me. But you're acting out like a little toddler having a tantrum. You are
Yeah.
acting out. You might not see yourself that way, but you are. You have to, talk about your feelings. Like I have toddlers. Well, not toddler. Well, 5-year-old is a toddler. 7-year-old, not so much. But I mean, I talk about feelings. I get them to watch like little YouTube videos on coping with emotions because kids these days going to school and friends and cliques, they have feelings. They need to know how to breathe and regulate themselves and identify these emotions and learn how to have good strategy so they don't live inside their head. I
Yeah.
think that's what you said. When we live inside our head and we don't let things come out, it's like garbage in doesn't come out, garbage in doesn't come out. It's
Mhm.
toxic and it's manifested as disease, illness. We give it names. When if we
Mhm.
just keep it simple, life happened, let's process it, let's talk about it. What are we going to do about it? How are we going to reduce our reactive response to this situation in the future so it doesn't, steamroll us and move forward. But movement, I love to move. At work, I have a desk, but it's like a standing height. So I stand
Mhm.
most of the time. I have a stool I
Mhm.
can sit down on, but I love to move.
Mhm.
I love to dance. I love music. I love laughter. I love keeping it real. It makes a big difference. And for
Yeah.
myself, growing up in a country or places where I wasn't allowed to really talk much, we had to stay quiet. Like you had to know the anthem every the crazy narcissistic side of insane.
Killed me.
I know. I know. Now you're free.
Totally.
But the thing is you see it. Once you've seen it, you kind of see it and you can
Mhm.
recognize pattern because nature is beautiful. It teaches us in patterns. And if we would just stop, put our feet in the sand and like learn and listen and
Mhm.
do something, life would be so much better.
It absolutely would be. I mean, I think the general thing is also like we just, as you were just telling me, breathe and this and that. In my head, I'm like, oh my God, it's so lame because been conditioned to do this. I'm
Hmm.
in the field and I tell people to, like when people have panic attacks and I'm able to get them through it just by paying attention to what their butt's doing and the gravity's doing and then breathing and then they get out of it and like, what?
I know.
Like, yeah, that's it. That's pretty much it. Like you just got to wait. Hold on, are you serious? I used to jump out of a moving car. I used to take stairs to the 20th floor, and you telling me if I just pay attention to my senses and breathe, I give it. Yeah, and that's what it takes for people to buy in. That's the
Yeah.
level of like suffering that it takes for someone to buy into that. And it's
Mm-hmm.
the same as, it's the same thing with physical health, right? So part of my other many ideas is to kind of change mental health to mental fitness. Because if we think about
Yes.
physical health
Yes.
and physical fitness, right? Physical health, everyone tells you, yeah, you got to make sure that you eat healthy and you move around and you do 20 minutes of that. It's like, okay, Buster, yeah, I'm good. But like, hey, you listen, there's the new CrossFit gym. There's a class that's gonna kick your ass. It's gonna
Mm-hmm.
the solid core. Oh my god, my abs are killing me right now. All of a sudden, there's competition. There's a sense of community. There's this thing of that. So we just have to package it in a way
Yes.
that you could actually kind of do it in a community fashion. There's something to get out of it. There's networking. Maybe you get a few dates. Maybe you get whatever it might be.
Yeah.
Free food, all this stuff. Like, just make it fun.
100%. It's mental health has a PR issue.
Oh yeah,
So a major PR issue. So
for sure.
yeah, that term mental fitness was a couple of years ago I first heard the term through I think this work through Stanford, positive intelligence, to talk about mental fitness, mental fitness.
Hmm.
They'll bounce back to see something negative and turn to something beautiful for lack of better terms. But yeah, you're right. It sounds so basic, breathing, grounding oneself, diaphragmatic breathing, pausing, but it doesn't
Hmm.
have to be that complicated. You don't need to have a ice bath in some really cold sea in some remote area to relax.
Yeah.
You can,
No, you really don't. But I mean, at the end of the day, if it's like people also like are now just burnt out 24/7, for the most part, especially professionals, especially all this stuff. They do
Mhm.
too much. So their scales are off, and they don't know what that's like. They don't know why they're unhappy. They don't know why they're not getting work done. They don't know all this stuff. And I asked them, "When's the last time you had a vacation?" So what?
Yeah,
Yeah,
no.
there you go. There's my diagnosis. That'll be $1,000.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. I wish I would charge 1,000. But like you see it from the get go. Like this person has the capabilities to live their best life ever. They've
Yeah.
just been ignoring signals 24/7 and they've been burnt out to a crisp.
100%. I've been there, done that. Wow.
Hmm.
Yeah, I've been there, done that. But never again. God help me, never again. I can say never because I'm like, nah, because that's a dark place.
Well, because you gave it meaning, right? You
Yeah.
gave that suffering a meaning and a purpose, and
Oh,
it's changed your life. And that's what we should aim to strive for.
yes, 100%. I actually booked a vacation yesterday, so I feel proud of myself.
Congrats.
Thank
Congrats.
Yeah. Ooh,
I
yeah.
can't leave the country, but we can go from
No, you
there.
can't.
I can't leave. I legitimately, my lawyer told me I cannot leave the country. I'm like,
No,
all right.
you cannot leave the country.
Yeah, no, no. It's like, all right, cool. I'll stay here for a little bit.
Go.
Yeah. I'm joking around and talking to people. I'm just gonna knock on their doors, be like, ice, ice, baby. And I'm gonna make that my new ringtone, actually. That just gave me a really good idea. I'll just have to see people panicking around me. Like, whoops. I mean, listen, if you're gonna be masked and do all this stuff, at least make it kind of funny. Like if you get the National Guard with you and everything else, go walk around, get Vanilla Ice on board, get him some money. He's not doing too well, is he? I don't know, actually.
No, I mean, the one hit wonder, man, like MC Hammer, like one hit wonder. It's not
Yeah,
easy.
I think he's probably doing well. It's like he has his right on his shoulder. If not, he can reach out to me. Listen, Ice, I got you. I'll give you 2 free sessions.
So true, but what can you do? I always say laughter is medicine. It's one of my takes. Laughter is medicine. It's important. It's good for the soul. What can you do?
It's
What
the
can you
best. It's
make
the
the best
best.
use of it?
I mean,
Anyway,
that's one thing. That's like a takeaway. If you are, even if you're like in the midst, like when I lost my dad and everything else, finding moments to laugh, followed by cry, followed by laugh, whatever,
mhm,
it's very cathartic, right?
it
Like we
is.
humor, feeling happy, finding something slightly amusing is a release. It allows you to actually tap into something, and then other ones can fall out. You can laugh in a difficult situation. It's cool. It's all right. You go for it.
Oh, I totally agree. I've definitely had my share. But anyway, thanks, Doc, for being here today. I've enjoyed this
Thank you for
conversation.
having me.
Yeah, I like the flow. We were kind of like all over the place, different questions on a hot mic, but I mean, the message was clear. We're very similar as humans, even though we
Yes.
give ourselves different labels. And motion, move, get up your arse, like legit, get up.
Don't overthink it. Don't
Don't
overthink it.
think
Just move.
it.
You're
It
good.
you don't need like a fancy membership. You just need limbs that move.
Mhm.
That's it. You can go around in your living room. I've done that during the pandemic, going up and down my stairs, down like use your body weight as resistance. Like move, play me. I love
Move.
music. Music.
Yeah,
Like
you'll feel better. Just start moving, less thinking, more movement. That's my takeaway.
yeah, I wish to all the leaders of the world, please move.
Yeah, and move over sometimes too. Some of y'all stayed way too long, way too long. Right? We had 2 chains. We don't need 3 chains or 3 terms. Yes. Thank you, Luda. I think that's what Luda was talking about. And I just shout out to Luda. Luda, if also, you're not doing too well.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
Luda's doing well. Luda's doing well. He's a good cat. He's a good man. He's probably having a few more babies, but it is what it is. This is how you know it's the end of it. Like I'm really trailing off now. My patients today are gonna be like, listen, you are wild. What's going on?
I know I'm going to go see patients pretty soon, be at the office. But anyway, everyone, thanks for your time. Thanks for listening. For those who want to get a hold of you, since you're going to be, have all this free spare time, you're not traveling anytime soon. So how can people get a hold of you, Doc?
So I'm trying actively to go on social media. So my handle on Instagram is NextGenShrink, which is going to say thing as my YouTube. And ideally, I'm going to be posting some things. But yeah, just and if anything, the fact that I'm even saying this out loud now, I feel like I have accountability. I got to do it.
You got to. It's. I'm going to amplify it too. So.
Okay. All right. Put pressure on me. That's pressure makes diamonds.
Exactly. So shine bright like a diamend. All right.
I got Rihanna on board.
Oh okay. Yeah, Riri, she's in your neck of the woods. So, bro,
yeah.
Collaboration.
I've also been to Barbados, so I can be like Rihanna. I've been there.
Yeah, exactly. All right, listeners, thanks again for sharing your most important resource, which is your time. I don't take you for granted. Like, share, comment. Let's amplify this message. Let's keep it real every day. Smile, laugh.
Absolutely. And get on my ass. Get me doing some more things, please.
Oh yeah. Oh, you careful what you ask for, bro.
I know. I'm fully aware. The more impression. Listen, I gotta do it. I gotta do it. If I gotta plan it, oh my god! If you haven't noticed by now, I have ADHD.
I kind of figured.
All the broken limbs and everything else. I didn't know until I was later. So like all the stuff that I say is for the most part like true and tried.
It's all good to live life through a colorful lens. All That's good. Right. Anyway, thanks for being on the show. To our listeners, till next time, this is your host, Dr. Tomi Mitchell from the Mental Health and Wellness Show.